Hello everyone, this is the review for Chapter 2. You're trying to find slope and x and y intercepts. Okay, so just remember, whoops, that's a bad line. It's even worse. Okay, maybe not worse, but my ability to draw a vertical line is lacking today. Okay, when you've got a graph and you got your x and y axes, so that's your y, that's your x, and you're going to come along and draw a line. Here's a y-intercept, and this is going to be your x-intercept. Now, what's true about this coordinate is for sure you got some x value, and the y value is 0. For a y-intercept, you've got a for sure x value of 0 and some y value. And that's the clue on how to find an x and y intercept. I'll come back and talk about that in just a second when we actually go to do it. To find slope, if you make your line look like this, then this is your slope, this is your y-intercept. So slope, y-intercept. That's what's called slope-intercept form. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract the 2x off, and then divide by 3. And you get y is equal to negative 2/3 x plus 14/3. Okay? Your slope then is negative 2/3. Your y-intercept is going to be 14/3. So the only thing left is to find your x-intercept. Now remember, when you have an x-intercept, your y is 0. So you fill in a 0 for y. 3 times 0 is 0. 2x is 14. So your x-intercept is 7. Divide by 2 and you got 7. Now this will also work if you didn't want to read out the y-intercept right here. It'll also work finding the y-intercept by using this idea. When you have a y-intercept, your x is 0. 2 times 0 is 0, so this is gone. Divide by 3 and you get 14/3. Okay? So when you have an equation like this, that's how you can find your x and y-intercepts. When it's already in slope-intercept form, you can just read the slope. Y-intercept is negative 4. To get an x-intercept, the y is 0. So think of it this way, or remember it this way. When you have an x-intercept, your y is 0. The other letter is 0. When you have a y-intercept, the x is 0. The other letter is 0. So when I want the x-intercept, I let the y be 0. I got to do a little work. I got to add the 4 over. Now I need to get rid of the 2/3, so I'm going to multiply by 3/2. The 2 reduces and leaves you 6. So your x-intercept is 6. Okay. Now these two are a little bit different. Notice that they only have a y or they only have an x. Going back to this one, it has an x and a y. And the previous one has an x and y. Your graph will cross the axes for which it has the variable, meaning it has an x and a y, so it's going to cross the x and a y. This only has a y, so it's only going to cross the y, so it's horizontal. Okay, so we'll come back to the slope in a second. Y-intercept, x-intercept. If it's only crossing the y, it will not cross the x-axis. So there isn't one, none, hammer time, whatever you want to call it. Okay? It doesn't have one, but don't say 0. If you say it has a y-intercept of 0 or an x-intercept of 0, that means it's right there. No, 0 is not the same as none. 0 is not the same as none. Okay? 0 is an actual answer. None is it doesn't have one. They're not the same. So this doesn't have one. NA, not applicable. Okay? Oopso. Okay, that was Korean for doesn't have one. Okay? Y-intercept, well, just solve for y. Subtract the 3, and you get y is equal to 3. Okay? Now the slope. This is something you either figure out or you memorize. Rise over run. On a horizontal line, are you rising? No. But you're running, pick a number. I don't know, 7. Well, what's 0 over 7 worth? This is basic fraction sense, you guys. If you can't remember what it's worth, type it in your calculator. That slope is 0. All horizontal lines have a slope of 0. Why? Not the letter Y, but why? Because you're not rising, but you're running. It produces a slope of 0. Okay, now this one, y-intercept, x-intercept. Okay, notice that you only have an x. If you only have an x, that means you can only cross the x. So it's going to be a vertical line. The slope of all vertical lines is undefined. It's not, doesn't have one. That doesn't make any sense. It's got one. I just can't tell you what it is. You're rising, so you're changing some number. Let's make that 2. But are you running? No, you're not. You can't divide by 0. And that's, again, something you guys just have to know. Okay, you can't divide by 0. So its slope is undefined. Also, if it's vertical, are you going to have a y-intercept? No, it doesn't have one. Hammer time, none. Doesn't have one. Okay? But don't leave it blank. Blank means you don't know how to do it. Okay? X-intercept, just solve for x. 8 divided by 2, 4. Okay? All right. Find 2 equations for the lines through the point 1 or negative 1, 4. So that's this equation, or this point right here. One that's parallel to this line. So it's going to be whoops, and I missed. Might as well erase it and try again. Parallel. Come on. Parallel. And through that point. So let's focus on that one. If it's parallel, it's got the same slope. Well, what's the slope on this one? Rise 1, run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So its slope is 1/5. So I know this much information. I also know that it's going to go through this point, negative 1, 4. That's an x, that's a y. Fill them in. So 4 is equal to 1/5 times negative 1 plus b. So that's y, well, y4. What am I thinking? Not much, apparently. 4 is equal to negative 1/5 plus b. Add the 5th. Okay, so that's your y-intercept. So y is equal to 1/5 x plus 4 and 1/5. Now I apologize that sometimes my 4s seems almost mysteriously to come out as a 9. Okay, so there you go. That's the slope of the parallel line. Now we still have to find the slope of the perpendicular line. So what I'm looking for is a line that's perpendicular to this one, but going through that point. So something like that. Perpendicular and goes through that point. I want the equation of this line. Well, you need to remember, and this is something that you just need to remember, that's the parallel, oops, I should draw it in red. That's the parallel slope. So the perpendicular slope is the opposite in sign, because notice this one has a positive slope, this one's got a negative slope. All lines that go down are negative, and you take the reciprocal. Do I need it over 1? Not really. I'm just doing it to illustrate the point that I took the reciprocal. So it's opposite sign and the reciprocal. And then you just repeat this process. So you have y is equal to negative 5x plus b. You fill in exactly the same point. 4 is equal to negative 5 times negative 1 plus b. That's 5. I guess I'll just write it. Meaning, I was going to just do this, cut it off, but you might have lost why I did that. Okay, so that cancels out. Negative 1 is b. So your final answer is y is equal to negative 5x minus 1. That's the equation for this blue line. Okay? Find the equation of both the parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay, well, hold on a second here. Draw a picture of it. The point 5, negative 4, 5 over, 4 down, and the line that you're given. So that's the point that I want to draw it through. The line that you're given is y is equal to 7. So this is the line y is equal to 7. I want the equation for a line that's parallel to it. Well, it also is just crossing the y-axis, and it's going through the point 5, negative 4. So the equation of that line is y is equal to negative 4. That's the parallel line. The perpendicular line is going to be, since I've already used blue to draw the graph, how about this one? Whoops, I missed it. Sorry, I missed it. It's a vertical line going through that point. All vertical lines look like x equals because they only cross the x-axis. Well, what's the x value at that point? 5. So x is equal to 5. So there's no arithmetic to do. You just look at it and go, oh, x is equal to 5, y is equal to negative 4. And you got the parallel and perpendicular lines. If you need to draw the picture, draw the picture. Find the equation of a line that goes through the point negative 3, 2. You don't have to draw this. I'm just doing it to help you see it. Negative 3, 2. And it's parallel to the line that goes through these 2 points. And again, you don't need to draw this. I'm just doing it to help you. Negative 4, negative 1. And negative 1, 1. So here is the line that you're comparing everything to. And I want the equations that go through this point. Parallel to that line? Okay, parallel. So the parallel slope, put the y values in, 1, negative 1, put the x values in. So you get 2 over 3. So the parallel slope is 2/3. Well, then what's the perpendicular slope? Well, opposite reciprocal. So you've got y is equal to 2/3 x plus b. Fill this point in, it's an x and a y. Once you find the slope, don't use these again. Scribble them out so you don't see them. Okay, this is the point that you're interested in, right there. Okay, so 2 is equal to 2/3 times negative 3 plus b. 3's cancel out, you're left with a negative 1. 2 is equal to negative 2 plus b. Add the 2, 4 is equal to b. So your final answer for the parallel line is y is equal to 2/3 x plus 4. So that's parallel. So perpendicular, y is equal to, the perpendicular slope was negative 3/2 x plus b. Now you fill this point in. 2 is equal to negative 3 over 2 times negative 3 over 1 plus b. So you get 2 is equal to 9 halves plus b. That's to help you do it in your head. That's 4.5. There's nothing that says you have to write it mixed. I'm just doing that to help me do it in my head. So I'm going to cut off 4.5. That's 4 and 9. So that's negative 2.5 is equal to b. So the final answer, since I'm kind of running out of room, the perpendicular line is equal to y is equal to, where did it go? Negative 3/2 x minus 2.5. Okay, so that would be the equation for the perpendicular line. All right. This one, was that the same? Oh, I answered both equations. I did both. Okay, so parallel, that's the answer to this question. That's right here. This one I've answered for down below. Whew. Okay, so the actual answer for the bottom one, I got carried away and did them both in the same question. Okay, so that's the answer for the number 8. Okay, and I believe that's it. I don't think there's a second page. Thank you for your time.